So in this part, I'd like to ask you some questions about your country, the country you're from. So tell me a little about your country.
Russia is the largest country in the world, occupying about 1/6 of the world's surface. It's largely an industrial country and one of the most developed world's economies. As it's so large, it encompasses whooping 9 time zones and has a variety of climates and geographical features.
Mm-hmm. You could say from a lot of climatic zones, and you can say zone вечной мерзлоты. So from permafrost regions in the north to subtropical climate, Crimea is ours, to subtropical climate in the south. Subtropical. Yes, it's a bit too long, but if the examiner doesn't stop you, then it's fine. So because you were speaking non-stop, so maybe you'll be able to say that. Yes, and just maybe here, maybe a bit later, you could say, or maybe you'll need it in the writing task 1, per capita. You can say per capita income in this country is, and whatever you want to say, it's high, low, and so on.
На душу населения?
Yes, per capita is like per person. So it comes from Latin, but it means per person. So something per capita, or it can also be an attribute, like an adjective. So per capita income. Well, there are lots of things you can say about the country, but like it has fertile soil or something like this. But you already included a lot of information here. So which part of your country do most people live in?
As far as I know, almost 10% of the country's entire population lives in the European part of Russia, in Moscow. And it's an interesting fact that, taking into account that Russia is the largest country in the world and the second most populated city is St. Petersburg.
Okay.
And they can continue on.
Okay, please.
Both Moscow and St. Petersburg are attractive to people because there are more ample opportunities to find a job that in other cities of Russia.
Okay. Well, maybe after a couple of sentences you'll be stopped, so don't be surprised. And when you mentioned the European part of Russia, you could have said that it's the most densely populated area in Russia, something like this. Or the population distribution is uneven. Okay, so where is your country located?
Well, as far as I remember from geography lessons, Russia is located in the northern part of Eurasia. It's bounded by the Barents Sea, the Kara Sea, and the Laptev Sea. And Russia shares its land boundary with 14 neighboring countries. I don't know, should I go in details which countries?
If you're not stopped at the exam, and if you have something to say, if you have some interesting vocabulary, just go on speaking until you're stopped.
40 neighboring countries such as China, Mongolia, just name a few, in the south, Georgia, Azerbaijan in the southwest.
No. This will not help you. I mean, enumerating countries, if you just say, when you said 2 countries, to name but a few, and that's enough. So if you want all all sides, all the compass language, north, south, east, west, it's not advanced vocabulary. So and names of countries are.
What?
Okay, can you hear me?
Yes, now I can.
Okay, so and names of countries, these are not advanced lexical items either, so you don't need to do that.
Okay, so I can say just mention about 14 neighboring countries and full stop.
Yes, you could mention something like we also have marine side border side neighbors. So and mention just one or two again, just for this expression. Or you can say yes, it shares its land boundary with like this collocation, and then you can just say and mention a couple of countries. So tell me about the main industries in your country.
There are several industries driving Russia's economy. Firstly, the petroleum industry and mining, which brings around one third of all income. Secondly, machine building, and thirdly, agriculture. Our country is a leading export of wheat, barley, potatoes, flax, and cabbage.
Okay, so if you provide lists, then only if they're really advanced lexical items, like talking about sports, you can say I do pull-ups, push-ups, sit-ups, and squats. This is a list, but all of the words there, or if you, it's like advanced names for trees and so on. Now you say firstly, secondly, and you just name the industry. That's not enough. You could say, well, firstly, one of the most lucrative sectors is petrol, well, whatever, petrol economy. And on top of that, Russia relies heavily on, say, agriculture or gas or whatever. So, and then, and finally, or eventually, Russia is the biggest producer of coal, for example, since the 18th century. Now, what are some of the good things and some of the bad things about living in your country?
Frankly speaking, in my country, people have a golden opportunity to obtain well-rounded education for free, as well as get a high-quality medical care. And turning to bad things, what I particularly dislike are thriving corruption and bureaucracy and growing poverty that people can hardly make ends meet.
Okay, so when you mention high quality of medicine, we have lots of free medicine, and you can say that healthcare in Russia is geared to need rather than income. So they're not targeted at receiving lots of money from you, but they're ready to help you. So that would be very poetic if you could say that. Okay. Right, now part two. So describe a time when you encourage somebody to do something. So if you're ready, please start.
I believe that it is crucial to have someone who can always support and encourages you to become better or reach your goals. I would like to tell about my friend Fadak, who is now my best friend. I met her for the first time at my current workplace 1 year ago, and I couldn't imagine that we could become really close friends. We are trying to support each other through ups and downs. To commence with, it must have been a few months ago when she was trying to finish her manuscript for PhD studies. She put a lot of work, energy, and efforts on her article, but once she has sent it to reviewers, she got a lot of comments which had to be corrected. As far as I remember, she was completely exhausted, both emotionally and physically, to be able to continue her work further. So I was trying to cheer her boost up, saying that she's not alone and shouldn't give up, and together we can get through this time. I tried to do my utmost to motivate her and lend a helping hand. I talked with her and encouraged to believe in herself. After a while, she corrected her manuscript, and as a result, it was approved and published in a top scientific journal. She was immensely grateful to me that I offered her help and encouraged to go further. I encourage her because I know if I were in her shoes, she would do the same for me. And um, I would say that true friendship is for that and exists to help each other in challenging times.
Okay, so part three questions related to this. Why are children often unwilling to do what their parents ask them about?
Um, I would say that children are prone from nature to be maybe sometimes selfish or um, that or they have a sense of maximalism that they don't want um, um, to follow advices or to do something um, they just want to show they mm,
Okay, right.
what's
So
it?
I would I can recommend you to say, well, children are prone to rebel. Can you see my screen now, by the way?
Yes.
Okay,
What is the rebel?
rebel. It's like when there is a rebellion, it means that well, usual people they well rebel against the king or something. Восставать. Склонны к тому, чтобы. So yes, a rebel is if it's a noun. A rebel is бунтарь. So buntaris to rebel. So or you can say they're stubborn, and there are two idioms: stubborn as a mule, obstinate as a donkey. But about children in plural, you'd say they are stubborn as mules and obstinate as donkeys. And finally, they want more autonomy. So these are ideas and expressions that you could use, but again, each of them should be developed. So you don't just say three phrases, but you can say, well, it happens simply because children want more autonomy. It's really it's crucial for many kids to exercise a personal choice at any age, and unfortunately, in many cases, and so on. What are the benefits and disadvantages of being able to influence others?
Well, I would say that while helping or lending lending a helping hand to others, it shows your good it shows your good qualities that you influence in a good way on the person's life. But on the other way around, people um, um, people could relax. I know could relax and they won't they won't follow um, want to develop themselves.
Okay, so to influence, the question was, I think you deviated a bit, or maybe, you deviated a bit from the question. What's the good, bad things about being able to influence others? So yeah, you could give some examples. So if you, in business, you can win over a tough customer, or uh, um, you can persuade the vendors to give you a bigger discount. You can accelerate results. But on the other hand, you may lead people in the wrong direction or something like this. So you could have used these collocations. Okay. And if you don't know what to say, just continue speaking. It doesn't matter. Just don't stop.
So in this particular question, I couldn't develop what to say.
Okay, so for part 3 questions, very often you can have some kind of introduction. Like you can say, the easiest thing would be, there are a plethora of pluses and minuses. You can say pros and cons of influencing. And on top of that, I'm utterly convinced that everything in life is a negotiation. Virtually every aspect of our life and work is negotiable, from hammering out details of a contract to getting kids to eat more vegetables, and so on. And then you just give examples or explanations and examples and so on. Okay, so in what situations do parents have to encourage their children to do something?
Well, I would say that parents mostly, of course, they could encourage children to do something, but mostly the major work should be done by the offspring. No, by the offspring, by themselves. As an example, as an example, to encourage children to do sports, just to develop healthy habits, or for instance to encourage them to pursue a degree in some top universities.
Okay, so you can also say that they also need to do this when the children need to overcome seemingly insurmountable hurdles. For example, can I give an example? Okay, right. Now, how can parents encourage their children to do what they don't want?
Well, to be brutally honest, I would say that parents could pose as an example, or be as an example by themselves, and they could just demonstrate how to perform some tasks successfully and be inspirational
Okay.
and act as an inspirator.
Okay, so the collocations that I could think of, that's to give them rewards, to appeal to their intellect, work towards inspiring kids, share enthusiasm to do something, set deadlines and achievable goals. And so some possible ways to. Okay, so is it possible to persuade a person in anything you want? Anything?
I would say that as one famous actress, Audrey Hepburn, she said that anything is impossible, and I suppose that that if you really want to reach something, you just go through ups and downs, but finally, as a final result, you can definitely achieve what you want.
Okay. You can also say that only if a person blindly trusts you can you persuade him or her in everything. So, because in this case, this person принимает все за чистую монету, takes everything for granted. I can say takes everything at face value. And another situation when this might happen is if your arguments sound very convincing. So these are two ideas that you can also include. Now, is it possible to learn to persuade others?
Well, I think it all comes down to the personality. So probably it takes time to learn how to encourage others to pursue something and to develop necessary skills for that.
Okay. To develop or to hone. So you can say that this is a skill which can be honed. That's another collocation. Okay. So do you agree that most people are, first of all, motivated by praise? Do you know the word praise? Praise, похвала.
Похвала, да.
You can also
repeat?
Yes, you can also paraphrase. When you answer, you can paraphrase praise with approval. Do you agree that most people are, first of all, motivated by praise?
Well, I would say approval plays a key role in pursuing something. For example, if we will just take sport as an example, and sportsmen, they can reach, but or they can reach better results if trainers or coaches, how to say, coaches,
okay.
They give they give praise or
Yes, you can say the praise or yes.
No, for example, someone give praise to another person.
Okay, right.
So coaches, they give praise to they not students, как они называют,
How to say what?
it's not, how to say, for example, trainers, coaches.
Okay.
Тренеры, it's coaches.
Trainer or coach, yes, you can use
Yes.
either of those.
So they give praise to the student, ученики, я не знаю, как спортсмены это ученики, to student, not student.
I think trainees would be a nice word here.
Trainees.
Okay, so social validation you could mention. So it's like when somebody praises you, or you have this desire for approval. When somebody approves you, approves of what you do, you have social validation, which is followed by the sense of belonging and feeling loved, which in turn are followed by respect and status. So this like social validation is a good collocation here. Plays a key role, that's a good collocation, but you can also say plays a pivotal role. That's another one. Okay, yes, instead of to give praise, you can just say praise somebody. You can use it as a verb.
Praise, okay.
Okay, so do you think money is the most important motivating factor at work?
I would say, of course, we couldn't deny that money don't play at all. The money don't play a crucial role.
Doesn't.
That doesn't play a crucial role in motivation process, but also, in my opinion, satisfaction of the work which you are doing, and the desire to establish your work properly is one of the crucial things.
Okay, right. So you can also say it's a crucial incentive, or most things revolve around money. That's why monetary rewards or pecuniary rewards seem to be of the utmost importance. Okay. Now, how can employers motivate their staff?
Well, I would say employers could arrange different free trainings to motivate employees to work better, or they also could increase their salary package, or they can also encourage in order to encourage them to work more productive. They can provide the or they can provide some days, some extra days off.
Okay, like our Russian government is planning to make
Yes.
a 4-day working week. All right, so employers can radiate positivity, pumping energy through the office. Okay, so is the role of a leader important in a group?
Well, I would say A leader is the man who can direct um, and motivate others, motivate team to pursue a common goal. Uh, and by that, I mean that leader could clearly set goals and encourage others to follow him to follow him in order to reach better results in some activities.
You can say, I can venture a guess that a team without a leader is like a ship without a captain.
Yes, it's a good.
And the leader ensures that all team members fulfill their roles. Maybe something like this is also possible. Do you agree that the main role of a boss is to motivate employees?
I think it's important um, to motivate employees and encourage the boost and fulfill them with positive energy and vibes so they can go further and perform their work more productive in a productive way.
Okay. Now, should parents reward their children when they help others?
Well, from my point of view, I would say it's a good sign if parents can reward children, so they foster good feelings and good features that can be
Okay. So, is it a good thing that a leader likes taking risks?
I would say that without taking a risk, it's really hard um, to succeed, and especially if we consider business, business sector, when you should think in different directions and take risks and motivate others to follow you and yes.
Okay. So you can also say taking risks is an inherent human trait. Taking risks evokes leadership success. Fortune favors the bold. Удача любит смелых. The risk is always worth being taken and can be life-changing. Okay, some possible ideas that you could develop. Now, there are more male than female world leaders. Do you think this will change in the future?
Could you repeat? There are more females?
There are more male than female world leaders.
Mhm.
Do you think this will change in the future?
Well, I would say that in the upcoming years, it is highly likely that the number of female leaders will be maybe not exceed, but will be equally with the number of male leaders, because women can maybe understand some things better and have a different angle on different different angle and different opinion on on processes, on ongoing processes.
Okay. So when there is a question, do you think blah, blah, blah in the future, you can say, well, I'm adamant that in years to come, we're bound to see a plethora of changes related to this. And after this, you can say what you want. So it's like an introductory sentence for your part 3 question, if it's about the future. Okay. So should a leader discuss with team members when making decisions?
Well, I would say leader should definitely hear and discuss other group members, other group, yes, group members, just to know about the whole picture, for example, of the problem which they are trying to solve. That will help to establish a right direction and establish right direction, goals, and yes.
So here are 2 ways you can also answer this question. Teams always outperform individuals, or the diverse skills and perspectives of a team have a multiplying effect. Okay, so why do many people want to be leaders?
I would say that it's, from my opinion, it's a double sword edge, because some people they truly from nature they want to be leaders and to make changes in something in order to help people to make drastic changes in people's life, so it can
Okay, so they want to change people's lives. They want to get
yes.
respect and dignity. They want to enrich people, leading them to truth, worth, and joy.
But other types of leaders, they just can take part of faith, and they're not interested in making some progress or
Okay.
Yes.
So why are some people afraid of being a leader?
I would say maybe some people they suppose that they don't have necessary skills for that, or they're afraid um, to go out from the comfort zone. While and they believe that others people they have high expectations about them.
Okay. If you want to say they are afraid of responsibility, you can say they fear the accountability of being a leader. You can use passive gerund. They're afraid of being rejected. They are afraid of not meeting expectations. So people have expectations. They're afraid of not meeting those expectations. Okay. All right. So how do people become leaders?
Well, I would say that while people take responsibilities for what they're doing, they can develop some leadership skills, and maybe just for some people they have предрасположенный от природы.
Prone to?
Prone from nature to have this leadership skills. So they can easily accelerate and develop themselves.
All right, you can also say they take responsibility for everything they say or do. They gain experience to accelerate their development. So another way of being able to saying that. So can everyone become a leader?
Well, I would say that not everyone could become a leader, and especially on whom others can rely on, because leadership possess different qualities, such as clear vision, some interpersonal skills, ability to understand and listen to others people advices, and
okay. Well, thank you. That is the end of the speaking test.